started going to grade school. I started going to grade school there at Mount Zion, or down in Jonesboro, down at the end of the bonds down there. It was a 2-room schoolhouse. Maybe 4 grades in one class and 4 in another, or 3 and 5, I forget what it was. We'd sit there, and then when you called your class, you'd go up to the front of the class, and then they'd have your math or your spelling, the English, or what it was, and you'd go back and sit. Then what was big deal was to go get the water. And you take a 2-gallon water bucket, and you walk down the White Spring down there at the curve, which is it's about a third of a mile. You'd walk down there and get a bucket of water, catch a bucket of water, and you'd bring that bucket of water back and put it in the corner of the room. And there'd be a dipper, and everybody in the room would drink out of that dipper, out of that bucket of water. But for a little guy, in the 2nd, 3rd grade, and to haul that bucket of water back up from there, it'd get a little heavy, but it was a big deal to go down there and get it. And another thing, we'd go out and get to dust the racers. You'd take the racers out and get on the flat rock, and you'd dust the racers and get the racers clean. But one day, something happened just scared me to death. There was an old girl sitting behind me, and she was probably in the 4th grade, but she was probably 13 years old or something, and she said, "Hey, Tommy, let me have your hand." So she took my hand, she sat behind me. She took my hand and put it up between her legs. And so it scared the hell out of me. I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, I didn't let her have my hand anymore. So school there 2 or 3, 3 years. And going in the 4th grade, Mom and Dad decided I needed to go to Carthage school. I'd get a better education. But they were going to board me out. So they take me to Carthage on Monday morning. And the first year, Mama boarded me out with Miss Chilkert. And Miss Chilkert was Mammy Beasley's friend. And she was she was probably 82 or 3 or 4 or something. Lived in this old dark house with dark curtains and dark floors and everything, So I'd go to school and then have to come home to that every night. It was miserable. It really was miserable. And to make things even more miserable, every day after school, there were two brothers that would wait for me down about 150 yards from school. And every day, one of them would hold me and the other one would hit me in the stomach. Just like that. It hurt. And I would go home crying every day. And it was terrifying when the end of school came every day. In fact, I got where I would go nearly a mile out of the way to go around and keep from going by them. His name was Enoch, and I never got them son of bitches. So next year, I said, "Please don't make a mistake with Miss Chilkert again." So next year, she got me staying with Miss Rogers. Well, that may sound okay, but Miss Rogers happened to be my 5th grade teacher. I would sit and look at her all day long, every day in 5th grade, and then go home and look at her at night. Now that was miserable too, and it just got worse and worse. And so finally, in the 6th grade, Mama made arrangements for me to stay with the Huddlestons. Well, there was Billy, the oldest, and then Charles, and then Jimmy, and then Mary Sue, and all the kids there in the house. And so, when they come in at night and eat at supper, everybody would have kids around, we'd laugh and have a good time, and that was a pretty good time, but still, no mom and daddy, Still I was at somebody else's house, and it wasn't being at home. And I got through that year, and then the next year, Daddy bought Dr. Chisholm's house down on the corner of Jackson and Main Street. A big old house, had 5 bedrooms and everything, and Mama took in boarders. And anyway, when I came home from school every afternoon, there would be Mom and Daddy. That made a big difference. Had a big influence on my life of finally being able to go to school and come home to Mom and Daddy. Really did. Then I started having parties there at the house. I'd invite the kids from school, come home, we'd have kick the can parties and all that kind of stuff. Then I started playing basketball in grade school. The only thing about playing ball back in grade school, I couldn't play with my 7th grade buddies, Jimmy and Larry and all of them. I had to play with the 8th grade boys because I was so big. And then we were playing these schools, Defeated Creek and Difficult and Buffalo. And those schools out there had these old boys that were in the 8th grade, and hell, they're 16 years old. And they used to beat me to death. In fact, in one game I was playing against Buffalo one time, I'd go up and I'd get the ball, and I had a bad habit of coming down with the ball, which we all know you don't do. And I'd go back up, and I was getting some rebounds, and I was bringing them down. And this old boy from Buffalo, he finally reached over, and I had these glasses with the band back of my head. He got those glasses, and he pulled them out about this far, and he let them go. And bang, they hit me, and I saw every star in Texas. And I ended up dizzy and with 2 black eyes and everything. And so I think that's the last time I ever pulled a basketball down. I kept them up from then on. That was a good lesson, but it was a hard lesson.